Hey, Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Chakodash, the ones of the apostles of great millstone that rule well, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we're finding that number to be delivered. All right, so what you see here on the screen is a meme, they call them, and it says something here doesn't add up. And the lesson I'm gonna get into is concerning the history of those in the land right now as we speak. All right, and I'm gonna start off with one scripture real quick, and this is Hosea 1:10. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which could not be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass in that place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power." All right. So the point being made here is the children of Israel was going to be as the sand of the sea, which could not be numbered. All right. So with that, let's get into this lesson. It's going to be brief, but it's going to be on point. All right. So this says here, Jewish demographics. All right. And this is off of Wikipedia. So let's just do a little bit of math right now and see what's not adding up. All right. It says the number of the Jews worldwide is difficult to assess because the definition who is a Jew is problematic. Not all Jews identify themselves as Jewish, and some who identify as Jewish are not considered so by other Jews. According to the Jewish Yearbook 1901, the global Jewish population in 1900 was around 11 million. Okay? So in 1900, the population was 11 million. All right? So let's do a little surfing around here. So we go from 11 million with the population, right? And let's go here. It says the Holocaust. The Holocaust was a Nazi Germany's deliberate, organized, state-sponsored persecution and machine-like murder of approximately 6 million European Jews, all right, and at least 5 million Soviet prisoners of war and so on and so forth. But the point being, there was, as they say on the book, 6 million Jews that were put to death, right? So now let's do some simple math. Let's go here. So the Holocaust started roughly in 1933 and went to 1945. And this is their numbers now. This is their numbers. This is their numbers. Let me see what I got here. Okay, yep, this is their numbers. So let's go back. It says the Jews have lived in Europe for more than 2,000 years. The American Jewish Yearbook placed the total Jewish population of Europe at about 9.5 million in 1933. Now, this was the start of the so-called Holocaust. But let me keep reading for a quick minute. It says, this number represents more than 6% of the world's Jewish population, which was estimated at 15.3 million. Okay? So it was estimated that the world population in 1933 was estimated at 15.3 million. But we know and understand that the number of individuals, if you will, that were put to death was 6 million, right? So if we do some quick math, 15 minus 6, right, it's going to bring us down to what? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. It's going to bring us down to 9 million, right? Which is represented here. In Europe at the time, 9.5. All right. But keeping in mind, we're dealing with the world population. That's the key number we're going to deal with, the world population. All right. So from that, let's go back again and jump over to now. Let me do this. So this was 1933, right? 1933. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use a 33-year increment, all right? Because the Jewish population in 1900 was 11 million, all right? So 33 years later, as it states here, 33 years later, the world population was 15 million, all right? With the exclusion of the so-called 6 million that would put to death, all right? So let's go 33 years later. Okay, 33 years later is going to bring us to 1978, right? So 1978, of course, the population was probably on the rise, right? And this is giving you the population of the Jewish people by the continents. But in total, it was 14,396,000. So the population bounced back up to 14 million. Okay? So now the world total is back up to 14 million. All right? So from there, let's go another 33 years. Another 33 years is going to take us to, what's this one here? It's going to take us to 2011, 2012, so to say. Right? Now, this is 33 years later. So now, this was dated December 18th, 2012. The global religious landscape. Jews. There were about 14 million Jews around the world, representing 0.2% of the global population. This estimate is based on the number of people who self-identified as Jewish when asked about their religion on national census and a large-scale surveys, right? So, and it goes on to say, and however, the world figure could be larger if a broader definition such as having Jewish grandparents, or smaller if a tighter definition such as unbroken line of matrilineal Jewish descent were imposed. All right. So all that being said, we went 33 years. Okay, we went 33 years from 1978, which the population was 14 million, to 2011, 2012, which the population remains as 14 million. Now, this is a 33-year period. So ask yourself, how is this possible? Okay? All right, so now let's end it off with this. If we go from 2012, and we're going to have to split that, because if we take it another 23 years, that'll take us out beyond probably 2033 or something like that. It'll take us beyond the scope because we're not into those future years. So we're going to take it right up until present of 2023, right? So 2023, which then again, we just entered 2023. So the census and the counting of the numbers are pretty much based from 2022. And this was a Jewish agency for Israel. Okay, so this is their own numbers now. This is their own numbers. Jerusalem, September 25th, 2022, on the eve of the Jewish New Year, the number of Jews worldwide stands at approximately 15.3 million, compared to the 15.2 million in the previous year, according to the newly released statistics from the Jewish Agency of Israel. All right. Now, these are their own numbers, right? So you can look at this from two perspectives. You can say, okay, so if we take it from 1945 to present day, that'd be about 78 years. Okay, so within that time period from 45, that means the population went from roughly 9,000, using the amount of those so that was reported to be executed. We can say that it rose up back to from 15 to 9 back to 14. Okay, so there's a $5 million there's a 5 million population increase. Okay, but from that point forward, you can take it from, if you take it from 1933 until present, that's a 90 day, and the number pretty much just stayed the same. So if you go from the beginning of 1933 minus the 5, or the 6 if you will, jumping it back up to 2023, which makes it 90 years, the sum total of the number of Jews in the world is 15 million. Now, either my math is wrong, or there's something terribly wrong with the statistics that they're putting into whatever formula they're using. Because you can't have a nation in 1900 be at 11 million, 33 years later come to 15 million, then 90 years later, from 33 to 23, 90 years later, be at 15 million. This shit just don't add up, man. It doesn't add up. All right, and this may be, it may be, very minute, if you will, but think about it. We have to identify who the Lord's people are, right? So let's give another quick scripture. This is Exodus 32:13. It says, "Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thy own self, and saidst unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. And all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever." So, the Lord said his people are going to be as the stars of heaven and also as the sand of the sea. So, from a 90-year period, the number of the children, or the number of the Jews, if you will, has never exceeded 15 million. Now they throw a fishbone in there by saying that depending upon how you identify, if you identify by your grandparents or you have partial lineage of the numbers could increase or decrease. But all that being said, the amount of people that should have been produced during the time of 90 years should have far more exceeded 15 million, give or take. Okay, shit. I could say, damn, I know 15 million people my damn self. When you put it in this aspect of these people reproducing, having children, and children having children, according to how the Lord said his people were going to be, as the sand of the sea. You see? So all in all, something here just doesn't add up. And again, this is another proof positive that those people over in that land and proclaiming themselves to be the children of the Lord aren't the children, man. They are not the children of the Lord. The Lord said to his people, be fruitful and multiply. Okay? And this is exactly what we do, man. Look at Ephraim itself. He is fruitful. Shit, Ephraim in this day and age right now, I mean, shit, two or three generations produced about 15 million kids, man. So that's one to grow on, man. It's becoming abundantly clear that we are those people whom the scriptures speak of, man. You can tell a lie, but if you ain't, you know, on top of that lie and consistently, you know, you know, supporting that lie, you're gonna get caught out there, man. You will always get caught out there when you lying. And this is exactly what these devils have done. All right, so with that, I just want to hit you with that quick one, little one. I'll see you on another one. I say shalom.